Hey everybody, welcome, welcome to Hidden Horror. Thank you for spending this time with me. I appreciate that. Let's get started. Good afternoon. Welcome to Hidden Horror. How are you guys today? I'm doing pretty good. I want to come on today just to get everybody kind of thinking and focusing on the next 2 months. We're going to be in the process of voir dire unless something changes right now. Bryan Kohberger is on track for his trial to begin in about 10 weeks. So we know what's been happening in the case. We know the concerns. I'm sure people have questions. What is Judge Hippler going to do about the leak? Was a huge leak, a significant leak, and we also know that there is allegedly a book coming out and other things. Right? There's other exposés in a sense about Bryan Kohberger, about the Idaho 4. Not as big as far as evidence being leaked, but it's out there, right? It's on YouTube. I've been seeing it. I've seen it in some major networks. So I want to just get us to kind of focus on if the trial starts August 11th, what's happening as we lead up to the trial. We know there are still some, if you want to call it loose ends, that have to be addressed very, very soon. One of the things is, of course, Judge Hippler wanted the defense to provide more information, more evidence relating to the alternate perpetrators, and he was given the prosecution up until June the 6th, that's the next Friday, to respond. And then when the June 18th hearing comes up, there's going to be some decisions made about the alternate perpetrators. Now, why is this important, right? Well, we know that Bryan Kohberger, he has a lot of rights. This right to defend yourself, you have a right to testify if you want. You have a right to remain silent if you want. But he also has a right to put on a defense. And part of that could be looked at as the alternate perpetrators. Now, in the state of Idaho, you just can't put on this idea without having some link, some evidence to support the idea that, no, I did not do it, that there was somebody alternative to me or others than me that committed this crime. Now, I think from the beginning, most people probably assumed that it was highly unlikely for this particular crime, the Idaho 4, just very gruesome, heinous murders to have occurred, and the actor be just a sole individual. Again, I've gone over it, but I'll just state it quickly. It appears that there are multiple weapons because there are different injuries for the victims. Kaylee had defensive wounds, allegedly, and also Zana had defensive wounds, allegedly, but the wounds are different. Kaylee was murdered, but appears to be a stabbing as some type of object that would produce punctures like a knife, okay? Maddie as well. But Kaylee also had other injuries, wounds on her face, appeared that she was beaten allegedly. Zana, she had signs on her body that she was attacked by a edged weapon that would be different bruising. Now, she may have had other injuries, maybe stabbings also. But we know that allegedly she fought back against the attacker. She had defensive wounds. And then we have Ethan Chapin that some very gruesome details have come out about his murder, but we know that from the medical examiner's report, allegedly, that he had wounds that appeared to be from a sharp force object. His injuries appeared to be like as if someone was striking him, but he has some other injuries. I'm not going to talk about them because I don't know if it's true. I have not found the medical examiner's report for any of the victims. And hopefully all of this will come out if there is a trial. Right now I always say if, and I've been saying if for a long time because there's just so much reasonable doubt. But we do believe that there, from the beginning, was multiple attackers. I've kind of gone over this and say I think there's possibly 3 or more attackers. I feel like certain people, and in particular, Ethan Chapin was held down. I feel that maybe Kaylee Gonclaves, she was attacked by 2 people. These are just my opinions. You can go back, you can watch some of those videos, but the idea of the alternative perpetrators, that there is more than one perpetrator, that's going to be at the June 18th hearing, okay? So that's one thing. Now, we know that the defense recently filed a motion to continue. They really want us to set aside the trial start date of August 11, 2025. They want to push it back. They want to look more into the leaks. They want to find out who is the leaker or leaks. There could be multiple entities, individuals who had access to that information, who had the knowledge, who had the records, who would have access, for example, to Bryan Kohberger's cell phone data, pictures, history, etc. I did not watch that Dateline special. I didn't watch it. I just forego it, and I didn't want to watch it, so I didn't. But what's going to happen with this motion to continue that the defense has filed? How will the prosecution respond? Are they going to push the trial date back further? She's also saying in the motion to continue that she does not have enough time to review all of the evidence, and that's important. She's required to go through and provide a good defense and be able to review all of the evidence, investigate, look into things, and also look into the background of her client, Mr. Kohberger, okay, extensively look into his history, okay? So that's another part, this motion to continue. What is Judge Hippler's response? Will this be something also that's going to be discussed at the June 18th hearing? It's a good time to do it. It's about, 7 weeks before the trial. So we will see, right? And another part of that is Judge Hippler has recommended that the prosecution request a special prosecutor. What is that special prosecutor going to do? That special prosecutor will be tasked with looking into this leak. We know that information, evidence, the knowledge of the crime scene, the evidence, etc., has been leaked since the beginning. We know who the big leaker is. I'm not going to say their name, but it's been out. It's been publicly in interviews, lots of interviews, right? So the special prosecutor job would be to look into who is releasing the evidence in the case, the information, the documents. Who does it benefit? It doesn't benefit Bryan Kohberger because for the most part it's all negative, anti Bryan Kohberger. It has not been a balanced approach, even with the information that's out there, right? So Judge Hippler wants to appoint a special prosecutor. He wants that prosecutor to criminally investigate who is the leaker, find out from both the defense and the prosecution by providing a list of who had access, who was involved in this case, this prosecution, who had the records, what is the chain of custody, who had the knowledge. And you're going to have to sit down, you're going to have to do interviews, because if you move forward with this trial and you actually have the leak or leakers, because it could be more than one, get on the stand and testify. What does that do? How credible is this person? Because they've tried to taint the jury, potential jurors. They've tried to kind of manipulate the evidence, get that out there before trial, and that's not fair. Bryan Kohberger, of course, he has a right to a fair trial. He has that right. And they're really messing this case up. And they've been doing it. If you go back to my videos a year ago, I've been saying the same thing. Why are you doing this? Why? If Bryan Kohberger is not even the suspect, what happens? What's going to happen if they have to start over? And all of the evidence is out there. This is a terrible thing for these victims and their families. If you are trying to seek justice, you cannot stack the deck against someone that you believe did it. And we all know there's just so much reasonable doubt. I've said probably, I don't know, maybe a year and a half ago, like almost 2 years ago, maybe set these charges to the side and investigate more, do more to build a strong case or seek other more viable suspects. But that is a whole nother issue. And then the last part is the voir dire process, the jury selection, trying to impanel to pick impartial jurors. That's going to be hard. I'm not going to say impossible because I believe that there will be some people that will be fair. They will have a balanced approach. They'll be able to listen to the evidence and their mind will not already be made up. But because so much has been leaked and they have crafted this idea, many ideas, right? One idea, Bryan Kohberger, he stalked the victims. Well, we know that's not true, right? We know also that a car at night can appear to be a different color. We know that because when you look at the video, you see things that's like should be one color, but they show up as gray or white. So we know that the colors are not accurately being depicted in those videos. So it's just a lot, so much to it, but we have all of these things leading up to the trial. We have the issue of alternative perpetrators. What's going to happen with that? Will the defense be allowed to present alternative perpetrators and how many? I believe they're only going to present that there is two other people. But again, I've said and I've created a video on that. I don't think it's a good idea. I think you have to present that others did it, but I think it's a dangerous approach when you say that there are two, specifically two, because we already know that there was a three male mixture of DNA under Maddie Mogen's fingernail clippings, right? And then we know that there were other male DNAs, for example, the blood male DNA on the handrail, and also the blood male DNA on a glove. We don't know if that's it, right? There could be other evidence as well with other male blood DNA on objects that are not movable or movable, right? We don't know. We don't know what's going to come out. And then we don't know how much time that special prosecutor, if he or she gets appointed, how much time that she or he's going to need to do a thorough criminal investigation into the leaks. It could be 3 months, 6 months, it could be a year. We don't know. We don't know what the results will be. Will they be able to find the leaker? Of course, the leaker could just come forward, right? Or the Dateline NBC/network, whoever put this expose special together, they could reveal who their leaker is, but typically they don't. They'll say that this is anonymous, that this was a tip, this was someone close to the case, this was someone that had knowledge, access. They typically shield and protect whoever provides these records because they know that this should not be happening. This should not be exclusive to the public when it should be evidence that's protected and presented, if it's even allowed, at trial only. Okay. And then again, the last part is the jury selection. So we have these four things that are coming up that are kind of trickling through as these last weeks move up to the trial on August 11th. You always know I have great concerns. I'm worried about the alternate perpetrators, um, only because I think the defense is going to try to say that there were two. Okay, I just think it's kind of a slippery slope unless maybe she has some more evidence, some more information, or maybe she, as she said, she needs more time to investigate. She's still in the pre-trial, gathering evidence, gathering records, investigation phase. She's not prepared for trial. August 11th. And I think that may be why she didn't have a lot of evidence, documentation to present in the alternative perpetrator information that she submitted to the court. She said at the one hearing, I think it was it the May 15th hearing that she had recently uncovered something regarding the alternative perpetrator. So that was like less than like 2 weeks ago. So I don't know how this is possible. I think everybody pretty much kind of felt there were multiple perpetrators, but also not just feeling it, but getting evidence to support it, witnesses, things like that. And again, we have all this unknown male DNA, which does not appear that the prosecution is going to process any of it. And I believe I read somewhere that the mattress, or I saw somewhere that the mattress that was taken from Zaina Cornoto's bedroom that had the large blood stain, that was not even processed. I guess they're just making an assumption that it's only the victim or victim's blood. I mean, I don't understand what has happened. I mean, they've had so much time to process this evidence. It's like, what the heck? I don't know. So I am concerned. I'm concerned about all of it. The jury selection, them trying to set impartial jury plus alternative jurors. I think they were going to increase that from either 6 to 8 or 8 to 10. I can't recall, but they were going to make that, a large number of additional jurors just in case they have to dismiss someone. And then even the judge said they may have to sequester the jury, which is going to cost more money. That means that these people could possibly be away from their families for months. So I'm not sure all of the steps that the judge is going to take to try to prevent what has happened or prevent additional leaks. Um, I don't know. We will see. We will see. So let me know what you think. Thanks for checking out this video. I really appreciate it. I want you to stay safe, stay smart, stay savvy, be well, all my friends. Bye, everybody.